Welcome to Not So New News, where we discover what is hidden in newspapers from 100 years ago. Today's article comes from the town of Whitesburg and appeared in Letcher County's oldest newspaper, the Mountain Eagle. Volume 2, Number 20, dated January 14th, 1909. Today's edition of the Mountain Eagle is titled, Pay Up for the Eagle Now. Mr. Merchant, let the Eagle advertise your business. Rates reasonable. Mr. Merchant, let us do your job printing. We guarantee satisfaction. This is a reading that is from the writings done in 1909. These views are from that time period and do not necessarily reflect the modern views of Kentucky Tennessee living nor its narrator. However, we do feel that all historical documents should be preserved for the future and strive not to change one word of the reading. However, if we feel that the readings are too controversial in political or religious standing, we will either silently put up the article for viewing or will direct everyone where it can be found online. Thank you for your understanding. Extra notation. During the December editions of the Mountain Eagle, we have come across a controversy about whether or not a woman should be educated. Please remember, this happened back in 1909 and is no longer a controversial subject as men and women are both granted the same educations today. However, we will be airing both sides as to the arguments that they gave during this debate at that time. Passing of a year as viewed by Henry. The good year of 1908 has reached the sere and yellow leaf. Yea, it is the last period of waning. Yet the wheels of time still roll on with the same velocity, nor reckons of the death of the expiring year, nor the birth of a new, burying every moment in the dust of the wrecks and ruins of former revolutions. The monuments of today crumble under time's remorseless hand as he kisses the gaudy architecture of tomorrow. And so goes the ceaseless roll. The debris of the countless ages past lie buried beneath the gaudy arcades of present human achievement. The archaeology of passing centuries catches an occasional gleam from the pen of the historian and is elsewise buried in the vortex of oblivion. Ambition's gorgeous temples, the gorgeous monuments of art and genius, spring up ever and anon, and are hurled to earth in the path of man, and serve momentarily to remind him of the passing of a meteoric life, or the flaunted fame of a crown, or an empire. These archaic edifices of the past speak like a trumpet, like the voice of a Tully from the tomb, reminding us of the utter futility of effort against the wrecks and ruins and revolutions of time. Empires rise and fall, nor stay one whit time's onward avalanche. You have well engrafted in memory the oft quoted words, quote, we stand the latest, and if we fail, perhaps the last experiment of self-government by the people, unquote. Rome fell after reaching a zenith of governmental perfection, law, wealth, and national stability, seemingly invulnerable. Yet, we have reached a far greater sphere of governmental perfection. Still might not some unforeseen insurrection develop that would endanger the perpetuity of this greatest of all republics? We live in an age with the wonders of telegraphy and electrical commodities, with developments along the line of explosives, monarch war vessels, aerial navigation, etc. When war be between two civilized nations must approach the very throes of extinction. Some minute cloud appearing on the zenith of our political horizon might spread and expand into a mighty cyclone, internal or international, that would leave devastation in its wake. May it never be. May the land of Washington, the home of our heroic fathers, ever wave in the splendor of her own free and untrampled thought. May the proud eagle, proud emblem bird of liberty, never take her flight from the land of the free and the home of the brave. 4. Where else between the poles will be found a land as congenial to her nature as our dear Columbia? Picture this awful catastrophe. Hear the wails of the widows and the cries of the orphan as they pursue parting liberty, wending her dubious way to a land more congenial to her nature. Let the sovereign people of this loved country, whose power fills the political throne, ever guard the sanctity of her cherished institutions. Let the spirit of 76 nerve the arm and warm the heat of every true American. Henry. P.S. This missus was nearly completed a few days before Christmas and is, therefore, a little out of date. But I send it anyway. J.C. As a Benedict sees it, the education of boys and girls. Nearly 2 million boys and girls under 16 years of age in the United States are forced to work for their daily bread. Their labors debar them, wholly or in part, from the privileges of education. Toiling in factories, shops, stores, and mines, in most cases they are deprived of even elementary educational advantages. In coal mines, boys of 12 to 14 work as daily laborers beside men. In the sweatshops of the cities, girls under 16 bend over sewing machines, wash tubs, baby carriages, etc. 10 hours a day, with food scarcely sufficient to keep a soul and body together. A consideration of such facts ought to make our young people who have good homes and free schools with a privilege to attend more appreciative. But there is still more to the problem than the lesson. The presence in American society of so many boys and girls growing up to maturity, stunted both physically and mentally, is a menace to our country. So serious have the conditions become that a National Child Labor Committee, composed of some of the most eminent men and women in the country, has been formed to investigate and seek a remedy. It is proposed to secure legislation in all states that are lawless on the subject. Some states already practically prohibit boys and girls from working at daily labor unless they can read and write the English language. Now, not speaking as a legislator, nor being desirous of becoming one, nor to mash on the corns of our bachelor, who is an excellent writer, but young girls, please refrain from the idea of your parents sending you to school to educate you for the bar, as physicians, and for other places as suggested by the bachelor. Rather reflect. There are hundreds of thousands of places as stenographers, etc., which would be easily filled up by the fair sex, as well as that of teaching and training children and other occupations more in keeping with a woman's nature, and which space will not permit mention. Billish. This concludes today's reading of the January 14th, 1909 Mountain Eagle. We at Kentucky Tennessee Living would like to thank you for your continued support as we bring to you the history of the Appalachian Mountains.